different types of appointment books. We have the day view screen, the week view screen, and the month view screen. In this class, we'll be focusing on the day view and the week view screens. Specifically, first, the day view screen. The day view screen shows all of the staff that are working on a particular day. You can see up to 31 staff members at a time, or a mixture of staff, rooms, and equipment if you use rooms and equipment. Right now I'm showing 15 people working today, and I'm going to book an appointment. First thing I need to do to book an appointment is to choose a customer. And I go to this button right here that says Client, and I can choose a customer one of two ways. I can look them up, somebody that's already in my database, or I can add somebody brand new to my database. So if I click Client, it brings up this client selection window, allowing me to pull up somebody that's already in my database. It defaults to last name. However, if I click here, I can look them up by first name, or with this, I can look them up by telephone number, or if I'm using the Loyalty Rewards program, I can even look them up by their membership number. With none of these selected, it defaults to last name. Then if I'm using a touch screen, I can use these buttons here to click. Like if I wanted to pull up Miss Michelle Babcock, I could click BAB or more and select. By choosing BAB, everybody whose last name starts with BAB appears. The more letters I put in, the shorter the list will be. BABC, select, and there it is. I can also type with my keyboard. Wiggins, enter, and everybody whose last name is Wiggins that's in my system will appear. So let's go back to Miss Babcock. So I've got Miss Babcock here, and now that I have selected a customer, and there she is, I can now choose from the list of groups that I have pre-created. All of the groups that I offer services in will be listed here. Now, I don't actually technically have to go with a group. If I go with all groups, every service I have will be available to me here to choose from. However, by choosing a group, only those services within that group will appear. So it's a much shorter list to choose from. So, do you mind if I ask, Lourdes, are you a hair salon or a day spa or both?
Just a hair salon, and we do have waxing service. We're a small business.
All right, so let's focus on hair. So I'm going to go to hair here. My hairstylist therapists appear, and now I'm going to choose something like a blow dry and curl. These are the list of my hair services. So I choose the service I want, and now I can book with any of the people that are on my screen. Notice that Debbie's name just highlighted. The reason Debbie's name highlighted is because the last time that Michelle Babcock got a blow dry and curl, she saw Debbie. That's all that means.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I have to book with her now, but that's a way for me to see the last person to provide that service for Miss Babcock was Debbie. Let's go to, let's say, a color one step for women. So she chooses that. No names come up. Let's see if we have any here. No. So no names have come up, so I can book with anybody. Debbie is not selected either. So for that particular service, perhaps she's never gotten it before. So I go to book the appointment now. Under a particular name, like Kathy here, I'll choose 1 o'clock, and I left-click to block out the time of the service. After left-clicking to block out the time anywhere within that blockout, I can now right-click to choose what type of customer she is. A no type means she doesn't care who she sees. A request means she asked for Kathy. If I say no type, there will be nothing on the side here. If I had said a request, I would have gotten a purple strip down the line like the ones you see here. So it fills in, the appointment is booked. You'll notice that this appointment has a gap in it, and then the word finish. The reason for that gap is because this is a single process. So I've got a processing time here that I can book another appointment with if I needed to. So here I've booked the appointment. Now that we have booked an appointment, we're going to reschedule that appointment. And we can do that by checking this box right here that says reschedule. That activates my drag and drop feature. I can now take it and move it to 12 o'clock by taking it up to 12 o'clock and releasing. Take it again, move it to 2 o'clock, take it to 3 o'clock, bring it up to 10 o'clock, bring it back to 1 o'clock. So moving an appointment around is really easy with the rescheduled tab clicked. That's not the only way I can do it. I can also right-click and select reschedule. I've got a little question mark next to my cursor. I can take it anywhere I want, like 2 o'clock, and click, and it will release the appointment there. But with having the reschedule checked, I can do it simply with drag and drop. Okay? Now, talking about the the week view screen. If Kathy, or excuse me, Michelle said, hey, I can't make it today, what other times does Kathy have available this week? I can right-click on Kathy's name and go to Kathy's week view. By doing that, I'm looking at Kathy's schedule from today and into the future of 2 weeks. Again, I can choose reschedule and book the appointment at 12 o'clock on Saturday the 20th, or 12 o'clock on Tuesday, January 23rd, or change the time and go to 10 o'clock on Saturday the 20th, go on Friday to 1 o'clock the 19th, or bring it back to 12 o'clock today. So I can move it around to different days on her weekly schedule. And then I can go to any one of these days, right-click and say, go to day, and it would take me directly to that day. But I'm going to do it here on the 16th, go to day, and I'm back in my day view screen for that particular day, Tuesday, January 16th. That's the week view screen. To get to the week view screen another way, I can go to that same book button here, and instead of left-clicking, which would take me to my day view, I can right-click, and that will take me to my day view screen. So that, my week view. So that is how you book or reschedule an appointment. Another thing that we're able to do, of course, is unbooking an appointment. So I can go to an appointment on the appointment book, right-click, and select Unbook. Now you'll notice I've got two options here, Unbook and Unbook All This Day. A lot of people get afraid of this one that says Unbook All This Day. They think that if they click on that, it unbooks every appointment that day. Well, God forbid. By selecting Unbook All This Day, all it does is unbook every appointment that Michelle Babcock has. If I right-click on Sherry Ingram and select Unbook All This Day, it will unbook every appointment that Sherry Ingram has for that particular day. No one else's. So if they only have one appointment booked, it will Unbook All This Day works exactly the same as Unbook. But if they had multiple appointments booked today, you may want to go to Unbook All This Day so that it will unbook them all with one step instead of having to unbook them individually. So we're on Miss Ingram here. I select Unbook. Are you sure you want to unbook this appointment? If I say yes, it will vanish off my screen. If I say no, it's as though I did nothing at all. Okay? All right. So that's booking, rescheduling, and unbooking appointments, as well as the day view screen and the week view screen. Let's talk about booking an appointment in the week view screen. We're going to do that for Debbie. I'm going to right-click on Debbie and go to her week view screen. And I want to book an appointment for her. So I can choose a service that she offers. The only services that will be listed here, notice it doesn't ask for a group this time. And that's because every service that Debbie offers will be listed here. So I could do something like a, let's go with a chin wax. And then I can choose a customer, whoever they may be. We'll go with Cynthia Quarles here, and I'll book that on Saturday the 20th at 12 o'clock. Left click to block out the time, right click to choose what type of customer she is. In this case, it asks for a room as well, and the appointment is booked for a chin wax with Cynthia Quarles. Go back to our current day. So now we've talked about booking, unbooking, rescheduling, and booking in the day view screen and the week view screen. Now we're going to talk about standing appointments, unless you have any questions on anything I've already covered.
I'm good so far.
Okay, so standing appointments. So somebody likes to come in every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, or every Thursday at 10 o'clock, whatever it is, or every other Thursday or something like that, but they had a regular, reoccurring appointment. That's a standing appointment. So I click on standing appointments, and the first thing I do is choose a customer. So I'll go with Crystal Saab here, and then I'll choose who it is she'd like to see. And I'll choose Christian. Then what services would she like to receive from Christian? We'll go with an anti-curl and blow dry, which is an hour and 30 minutes long. And she likes to get her anti-curl every 3 weeks. Are we starting today, or are we starting on a different day? So maybe she likes to get it every 3 weeks on Wednesdays. So I'll choose Wednesday, and she likes to come in at maybe 11 a.m. or another time. I'll stick with 11 here, and I'm going to say every 3 weeks. Then I'll choose my visits from 1 to 256. Remember, there's 52 weeks in a year. If I chose 256 and I had it set for every 3 weeks, that would be 15 years worth of appointments. So we may not want to get that silly. Let's go with maybe 10 appointments. So after I've chosen the start date, the time of day, and the frequency, I can hit show, and it's really important that you hit show. Oh wait, before we do that, we have to choose what type of customer she is, just like you do when you're booking an appointment. Did she specifically ask for Christian? Then that's a request. And show. It's important that you hit show because you need to look at the status. If the status has a bunch of X's, that means that that day cannot be booked. So let's say, for instance, Wednesday, April 11th, 2018 at 11 a.m., where it says OK, instead it says XX. That would mean that maybe he's already got another appointment booked on that day. Or perhaps he's taking a day off that day. Maybe that's in the middle of his vacation. Whatever it is, if there are X's there, that means that appointment cannot be booked at that time. Now, maybe he's already got another appointment booked. So all he needs to do is just change that one time. So we click on that, and we can choose an alternate time. Maybe instead of 11 a.m., we make it to 12. The only times that will show are times that he is available to do it. If he's not in that day, there will be no alternate times. So you will have to choose an alternate operator. Now, he is in that day, so his name is still here. But I could say, Kathy's going to do it that day, and she's going to do it at 11 a.m. So now I've got an alternate there. So all of these are with Christian except for that one. And that one's going to go with Kathy simply because Christian, for whatever reason, is not available that day. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to go ahead and hit book. And those appointments have all been booked. So I was able to book 10 appointments all at once, starting with tomorrow. And let's take a look at Christian here. There it is. There's Crystal Saab for her anticurl and blow dry, starting at 11 o'clock on January the 17th. If I go forward 3 weeks and a day, there she is again for February 7th. Let's go forward 6 weeks and a day. And there she is again for February 28th. So the appointment's booked just like I wanted them to. To go back to our current day, very simply, I can go to calendar and hit today. And now I'm right back on Tuesday, January 16th. That's booking a standing appointment. Any questions on that before we continue?
No.
All right. So moving on, the next thing we're going to talk about is booking in the multi-book. The multi-book allows us to book multiple services at once. I click on multi-book, and it brings up this client multi-book window. Now I can choose from a list of packages that I've already pre-created. But if I don't have a package that I've pre-created, I can also just click on multi-service. And now I can put in services. So I could say that Ashley is going to do an anticurl with haircut, followed by Jessica, who's going to do a back facial, followed by Matthew, who's going to do a bang trim. I don't know why you would do a bang trim when you've got an anticurl with the haircut included in there, but that's what I did. Now, if I went with that, I should have put it here and removed this one. Let's go ahead and get that out there. Now, if I accepted that, it's going to book all of those appointments automatically on a particular day and time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a package that I've already created, like the Princess's Day. It's the same thing, except it already has been pre-created. So now I can choose what date would this customer like to come in. Let's say the 17th. So I choose my calendar date, then I click here on my starting and ending date, and it'll change it to whatever I chose on the calendar. There's my 17th. Would she like to come in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? Or I don't have to worry about any of that, and I can just choose the time that she would not like to come in any earlier than, let's say 10 a.m. So now I can hit go, and it will show me every available option for that package that starts at 10 a.m. or later.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got a busy appointment book, it might only give you 1 or 2 options, or 3 or 4 options. But I've got a wide open day tomorrow because this is sample data. So this is going to give me a lot. So I can stop it at any time. And I can choose one that I like. Let's say we'll go with this one here. And let's take a look at it. Maureen's going to do the acrylic tips full. Lizette is going to do the back facial. And Abigail is going to do the micro facial. If that works for the customer and they start at 11 a.m., if that works for the customer, then I can just pull whoever the customer is up. We'll go with, let's say, Sylvia Chavaria here, and then I can book it. Any services that require rooms, it will ask for. And if any equipment was required, that will be asked for as well. If not, it won't ask for any of that, and it'll simply book. So it's been booked. Let's take a look. Let's go to tomorrow. And you can already see a couple of them, but let's make our screen a little bit bigger. There we go. Sylvia Echevarria for acrylic tips full with Maureen. Sylvia Echevarria for a back facial with Lizette. Sylvia Echevarria for a microfacial with Abigail. It all booked very nicely. Now, lots of openings here. Would have been pretty simple for me to even do them individually. But by having, if this was a full appointment book, if it was very busy, then it might have only given me a couple of options, and that can really speed my time up. Who can do this service? Do they have the time available? Who can do the next service? Do they have the next time available, etc.? Also, by booking a package, it has its own unique price associated with it as well. So that's multi-book. Any questions on that before we continue? All right, so then for the beginners, we're about to move to the point of sale. Now, you can go directly to the point of sale by clicking on sales, and it will bring up your register. And everybody who has an appointment booked for you today will be listed here. And they will be listed one of two ways, either alphabetically or in order of checkout. Mine is set for order of checkout. Bella here, who's booked online, Michelle Babcock, who's a VIP, and Sherry Ingram. Now, I might have dozens. So by doing it in order of checkout, depending on what time of day it is, they should be at or near the top as they come to the front desk to leave. If you had it alphabetically, then you would just be able to surf through it to find their name alphabetically. When you choose their name, like Bella here, it'll fill in automatically the ticket. Bella saw Debbie for a Swedish 60 for $99. Let's clear that. I choose Michelle Babcock. This one requires a formula. I'm not going to use it. Michelle Babcock saw Kathy for a color on step for women, $130. She gets an automatic discount reward because she's a gold member. So ready to go. Now I'm going to clear that. I can also do it from the appointment book. I can right click on Sherry Ingram and go to check out, and it will open my register with her ticket already ready to go. I can also just leave that if I want, or I can leave it up. It doesn't matter. So Miss Ingram saw Debbie for a Brazilian blowout. She's ready to go. What if they don't have an appointment? It's not a problem. I'm just not going to choose them off the list or from the appointment book. I simply go to clients and choose who they are. So I've got Brittany Ueno here and click on service. She saw Christian. She got a blow dry and curl. If that's all she got, I hit last. If she got more, I hit more and choose what else she got. Or last, and my ticket's ready to go without an appointment. Clear that. What if they don't have an appointment and they are brand new to me? I don't have them in my database. I just click on the new button and I can add somebody brand new and then fill in their ticket. If I don't care who they are, maybe they're a minor and I'm not going to market to them, I can go with a one-time and then still fill in the ticket.
Okay.
Now, when the ticket is in, that doesn't mean that's all there is to it. I could add additional services. Maybe they were upsold. Bella had an appointment for a Swedish 60, but she also, while she was there, was talked into a blow dry and curl by Christian. And she would like to buy some product. So I can type in a SKU number right into this field, or I can scan my product if I have a barcode scanner. And I can choose who's getting the commission on it. And it'll put in my local tax, and I'm ready to go. Or maybe not. Maybe she'd also like to apply a gratuity. I can put a dollar amount in for Christian and hit accept, and then put a dollar amount in for Debbie and hit accept, or I could have hit apply a percentage and just say 15%, and it'll do the math for me and distribute it. Debbie's going to get $14.85, and Christian's going to get $7.50 because she added 15%. Now I can go to payment and accept payment. Cash, check, credit card, gift certificate or gift cards, series, on account status, charging to a room if you're part of a hotel or resort, traveler's checks, unique or other methods of item that you get to create, and then finally the rewards points, which are like airline miles, if your customer would like to use the points that they've earned to get a discount or a freebie off of the services that they've gotten or product that they've gotten. Now, they can also accept forms in multiple forms. For instance, Bella here owes me $194.29, and she wants to pay me in cash and credit card. She wants to use up that $100 bill she's got. So she's going to pay me $100 and accept. She still owes me $94.29, and she's going to put that balance on her credit card. If you are processing credit cards directly through our processor, it's going to look like this. And you're going to click that credit button, and you're going to stick the card into the chip reader or swipe the card. If you are not using our preferred provider, it's going to look like this. And you're simply going to choose what type of card she used. That way, you get to keep track of the fact that it was a credit card sale on this type of card for this amount without having to actually get your authorization directly through the software. If you are accepting a gift certificate or gift card, that gift certificate or gift card must have already been sold through the software in order for it to be used. Now, our gift certificate system does not have any third-party authorization, so you're not charged to use a gift card. You're not charged to use a gift certificate. So that's a little bit of a money saver there. So let's go with credit card and say that she's going to pay the balance on Visa and accept. And accept. Ask client if they'd like to book their next appointment. I'm just going to say no, but let's take a look at her history. Let's go to Bella Bella. There she is. If I look at her history now, I can see that on the 16th, she saw Debbie for a Swedish 60 and Christian for a blow dry and curl. She also was sold by Lizette the Just an All-in-One shampoo. If I click on any of these, I can view the whole transaction, everything that happened on it, including the fact that she paid $100 in cash and $94.29 on her Visa. I can even make changes to the transaction if I had made a mistake.
Go back to that.
Which part?
The changes
Okay.
on the transaction. Just want to write that down. Okay.
Sure. So you're looking at a transaction. And
Okay.
when you're looking at a transaction, you have a modify button. Now notice this transaction has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pieces. So when I hit modify, I'm just looking at the first piece. If I use these arrows, I can go back and forth between all 8 pieces of this transaction. Okay. So here, this is Debbie doing the Swedish 60. Click, same transaction, but this is Christian doing the blow dry and curl. Click, same transaction. This is Debbie getting a gratuity. Click, Christian getting a gratuity. Click, Lizette selling the shampoo. Click, sales tax. Click, cash payment of $100. Click Visa for $94.29, and that's it. Those are all the different pieces of my transaction. Now I need to make a change. Maybe it wasn't Debbie that did the Swedish 60, or maybe it wasn't the Swedish 60 that was done at all. So I could change and say it was Jessica that did the Swedish 60 and save. Now if that's all I change, notice Jessica did the Swedish 60, but look, Debbie got the gratuity. That doesn't work for me. So I need to go to that part too. Let's go to modify. Jessica did the Swedish 60. Click, click. There's Debbie getting the gratuity. No, that goes to Jessica and save. So now Jessica did the Swedish 60 and Jessica did the gratuity. I can even change how much was paid, what the service was, everything. Anything can be changed.
Okay.
Any questions on that? Okay, so let's just quickly run through a couple more sales here. So let's get Michelle Babcock out of here. We'll pay that and say that she is going to pay with cash, accept, and accept. Okay, that'll do it. Hang on just a second. I put a product in there. I accidentally clicked that. I knew I did because my left finger twitched on me. How annoying. There we go. Okay, so let's do the last one here. We'll go with Sherry Ingram, and we'll go to payment and say that she's also going to pay with cash and accept, and done. Now it's time to close our drawer for the day. I go to register and I go to close. The first thing the closing wizard is going to ask me is whether or not I have successfully done my paid ins and paid outs. And the reason for that is because that can mess your drawer up. So for instance, if let's say that Lourdes came up to me and I'm just the front desk guy, she's the boss, she walks up to me and she says, hey Matt, give me $20 out of the drawer, I'm gonna go get coffee. She's the boss, So I pop the drawer with a no sale. I take the $20 out. I hand it to her, and off she goes. Well, when I close at the end of the day, or maybe it's not going to be me at the end of the day, maybe it's going to be somebody else. And when they close, the drawer is going to be $20 light. It's going to be short $20. And that's not good, especially if I wasn't the one who took it out and remember why. Now all of a sudden my drawer's shy. So I've got a problem. So that's not what we want to do. Instead, if Lourdes came up to me and said, hey, Matt, give me $20 out of the drawer, I'd say, sure. And I'd go to register, and I'd go to paid outs. And then I'd say, boss for coffee, $20, and I would post it, or post and open the drawer and take out the $20 and hand it to her. By doing that, a transaction has been created showing that $20 has left the drawer. Now, at the end of the day, my drawer won't be off. That's a paid out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So a few days go by, Lourdes comes up to me and she says, put that $20 back in the drawer, and she hands it to me, and I stick it in the drawer. If I don't do a paid in, my drawer is going to be over $20, and I don't want that either. So I go to register, and I go to paid ins, and I do the same thing. Boss repaid, $20, post and open the drawer. Put that $20 in. Now there's a transaction showing that $20 has come in, so my drawer is not over. So when I go to register and I go to close, it says, hey, did you have any paid ins or paid outs today? Because if so, make sure they're done. Or if you already did them at the time, which is even better, or if you didn't do any that day, you can just continue. And that takes us to the next window, which asks me to leave what float I'm going to leave for the next day. This is the amount of money, cash, that you are leaving in the drawer for the following day. So I've said I want $50 to be left in my drawer. Now, I brought a lot more than $50 in today, but that's how much I want to leave in the drawer. When I started this morning, I started with $50 because that was the float from last night too. So every bit of money that I brought in today is going to be on top of whatever my float is. And I'm saying I want to leave that much money in. So only the monies that I brought in today should be part of my deposit. So $50 is what I'm leaving in, and that's what I started with. So accept that. It says I brought in $573.50 in cash, nothing in checks, nothing in traveler's checks, and my credit cards, I brought in $94.29 in credit cards. This is what my drawer is showing. My total deposit is going to be $667.79, combining my cash and anything else that may have come in, including credit cards. I can put in a deposit number and print out a receipt for that, or I can just accept. And so now it's telling me my beginning register was 50, I'm leaving 50, I brought in $667.79, and I'm depositing $667.79, so I should be left with $50 remaining, and that's exactly what I have. So my overshort is 0. My receipts, every monies that I brought in today in any form, my totals, my tips, any service charges that were part of it as well, any voids that I may have done, my deposits, and my total sales breakdown. What I did in services today, what I did in retail today, merchandise returns, what I sold in gift certificates today, etc. Any shipping that was done because somebody bought something online, whatever it may be, it's all going to be there. And if I accept, my drawer is closed. Are you sure? Yes. Now, I could hit print. And if I did that, it would do the same thing as accepting. It would accept it and print it. So accept and print are the same thing. Accept simply accepts it, and print accepts and prints it. Only cancel lets you start over. And yes. And I'm done. Now if I tried to do something, it'll tell me that my drawer's been closed and would I like to reopen it. That's how you close a drawer. And then the next day, as soon as midnight turns, you don't have to open your drawer. As soon as midnight comes and you are now on to the next date, January 17th, 2018, you can immediately start doing sales again. Are there any questions on anything I just showed you?
No.
Then that is the beginner's class. Do you have any questions on anything at all that you were hoping I would go over that I didn't?
No, I think the booking is something that I want to gravitate towards because we still use a paper and pencil.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to do that, because the ability for your software to not only send your staff what their schedule is every night, and the ability for your customers to book their own appointments online, as well as the ability for you to, for instance, print out a list for your, an itinerary for your customers, or perhaps print out a list in the morning for your staff. Things like that can only be done if you're using the appointment book, and it makes your life a whole lot easier.
Yes.
Okay, well then I guess that's it. Do you want a copy of this class emailed to you?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. And I think,
I'll
let's
send
see
it to the same one I sent the other two to.
yeah, the same email.
Yep, you've got it. Lourdes, thank you so much for attending today. You've heard it twice already, but I'm going to say it again. Those that know the most about the software are those that like it the most. So thank you very much for spending your time with me today. Have a great day, Lourdes.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.